In today's edition of At Home with the HOOS, presented by UVA Orthopedics, we are at home with one of the all-time greats in UVA sports as the one and only Malcolm Brogdon, ACC Player of the Year, former NBA Rookie of the Year, is kind enough to take a little bit of time with us and take us inside his home. Malcolm, long time no see, and thanks for sharing some time with us, man. I'll start with a basic question. Where is home for you in the here and now?
Home is Atlanta, Georgia. Of course, I'm with the Indiana Pacers right now, but, I love Atlanta. I grew up here. So last summer I actually bought a house here. So I'm here right now.
And so here's the question everybody's getting. Is cabin fever set in for you yet?
A little bit. I spend time outside. I'm trying to exercise and work out as much as I can around the house. But, of course, there's a little bit of it. There are a lot of TV shows and movies I'm catching up on, but I feel like I'm gonna run out soon.
What's your show of choice?
Lately it's been Ozark. I watched Ozark, and people had been talking about it for a while, and I finally watched it. It's really, really good.
You've always been so much more than just a basketball player, and that includes even early in your NBA career here, doing some work with the NBAPA Players Association as you guys navigate these difficult times. What has that experience been like, and what sort of conversations have you been having?
It's actually been awesome. The last time that, from what I've heard from guys like Chris Paul and the elder statesmen in the league, the last time they've had such a chaotic time was the lockout. 8-9 years ago in the NBA. So, and this is even crazier. You're seeing salaries are going to be cut. You're seeing, the season is going to be altered. It may be canceled. It may resume. Next season may be affected. So there's so many moving parts right now. And being on the executive committee, you get to really listen in on all the conversations with the CDC, with the NBA. So it's been a fascinating learning experience.
Yeah, I can only imagine it. Take me back to that fateful night when sports pretty much stopped as we know it. It was the NBA really that led the way with the postponement or at least ceasing their season. What was that night like for you as a player?
Shocking. We had just played the Boston Celtics. That was our last game. And you had just heard that Rudy Gobert tested positive for the COVID-19. And, I thought it was sort of inevitable. I think we were, as NBA players, we were all waiting to see who was going to be the first one to get it. And then he got it. And people were anticipating Adam Silver coming out and shutting it down. And then it just being sort of a snowball effect across the leagues.
This was another new start for you in general terms this year as you signed your first big free agent contract with a new team in Indiana. You made reference to the fact playing with the Pacers, but what was that experience like being a free agent for the first time, essentially since you were a high school player to determine where you were going to play college ball at the time? What was that experience like?
I think there's a big misconception about, especially coming off of your rookie contract, when you're a restricted free agent. I think unless you know a lot about sports and you're paying a lot of attention, there's a difference between restricted and unrestricted free agent. When you're restricted, your team basically has the rights to keep you as long as they're willing to match any offer you get from any other team. And there's so much that goes into it. There's so much in terms of having a good agent that can negotiate, that has relationships, that can get other teams to offer good money. But then you also want to play in a good city. You want to have a good role on the team. You want there to be a void that you can fill for the team. So there's so much that goes into picking the right team, and then allowing your team letting you go. And it worked out for me great being able to go to a team in Indiana where I got to play my position. They had a leadership role for me, and they really embraced me, and I've embraced them. It's been a great fit. I'm a new player. I've proven myself over the past 3 years, so I'm a big free agent. But at the end of the day, you're a new player on a new team, and you have to gain those guys' respect as well. And I feel like I've done that. I feel like I'm still continuing to do that. But it's been interesting moving from a Milwaukee team that almost by the time I left was a veteran group. I got to see Giannis and Chris and all these guys when they were younger. They grew into vets and the all-stars consistently every year. And now I'm on a team where, we're at a younger stage. A lot of young guys still hungry, trying to prove themselves. So it's been awesome to be a part of this building culture.
All right, let's take a step back in time to just over a year ago at this time. You were in Minneapolis like the rest of us, watching Virginia earn its first ever national championship in college hoops. But unlike the rest of us, You had a huge mark on building to that occasion. What was that experience like for you as a spectator that night?
Honestly, I was honestly grateful to see Coach Bennett get a championship. He's a guy that works extremely hard at his craft, is a great leader, and is a great, I guess, role model beyond that in terms of being a good person, being a decent human being. And to see him go through it with us the years before when he had recruited me to go through it with those teams where they weren't winning as much, and then to, reach the top of the ladder and watch him do that. It was honestly, a blessing to be able to just be there and experience it.
How much are you still in contact with your former teammates and coaches from your UVA days?
In decent contact. Everybody is so busy. Half the guys are, halfway across the world playing. Some guys are in the tech industry. Some guys are, in the NBA. They're all over the place. So we find time to communicate individually, but then we have big group texts that we communicate on. We communicate as much as we can.
Lastly, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't take a peek into some of the amazing work that you're regularly a part of away from the court. We talked a little bit about the Players Association, but I also know you joined forces with another UVA alum in the form of Chris Long, working toward a mutual cause of water in Africa, something I know you've had an interest in since before you even went to the NBA. Tell us what you're up to these days on that front and how everything's progressing.
For sure. I have actually recently started my own foundation. During this hiatus, I've started my own foundation that'll focus on having a water initiative, but also having a education initiative that will be based in Indianapolis and Atlanta. But as for the water initiative, I've done great work under the Chris Long Foundation, but now I'm going to take that water initiative and I'm going to move it to the Brogdon Family Foundation. Just great partnerships in mind, a lot more work to be done across the whole continent of Africa and possibly spread to other continents. So I'm just extremely excited. This time has given me a lot, just space and mental space and, mainly time to really connect with people, to reach out, to develop relationships and partnerships.
It is time for a few lightning round questions. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right. Favorite game or play from your time at UVA?
When I hit the shot against Pittsburgh, my second year playing.
If you could paint anything on the Beta Bridge today, what would it be?
I'd paint a Muhammad Ali quote that says, service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth.
Your favorite place on grounds when you were at UVA
was JPJ. I won a lot of games in there.
All right, Malcolm. Hey, can't thank you enough for taking a little time to be with us today, and keep up the great work you're doing, my man.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
All right. At Home with the Who's is presented by UVA Orthopedics. UVA Orthopedics, stronger movement, superior momentum, healthier lives. Learn more at uvahealth.com/ortho. That's the president, Malcolm Brogdon.